It's 30th of December and I'm just looking at the King's Christmas message. I mean, I haven't heard the message for years, but in the old days I would have been not anti-royalty, just I would have voted against them as a monarchy. But now I think we need them as a sort of just a sign of what when Britain was great, basically. Uh, just a symbol. And funnily enough, that lady during that, what was it, Queen's funeral or something, or somebody's funeral, she said there wasn't enough of a certain type of person on the balcony. That's giving us a sign of how the future majority is going to vote on the monarchy, just how they look, So yeah, I'm just it's depressing really. I'm not bothered about his green stuff, but the stuff he was saying about basically diversity and that, I mean, it's okay for the King and the Prime Minister and everyone to say diversity is a strength and it's going to be good. But what if you don't feel what's happened so far it's looking that way, and in the future you think it's a new experiment that might be a disaster? I mean, Keir called Boris's last 4 or 5 years of immigration policy where we've had the most ever, over 1 million a year gross. I agree with everybody who's come. I agree with every single one of them, why they're leaving, where they're leaving. Most of them legal newcomers. And yeah, the Prince, he's doing everything to bend over backward for him, but basically he's a turkey talking up Christmas, basically, which is ironic because it's a Christmas message. And he's saying diversity is our strength. But are you allowed to be anxious about it and think, well, I don't know. It's a new experiment, as Keir said. Boris's policies was a new experiment. I mean, Keir's speech was the most uplifting since 1969 on this issue. And then a couple of months later, he was calling Rotherham traditional Labour voters far-right thugs who had been bussed in. That's what he was calling them. And then the next night after that rioting, the Socialist Workers' Party was bussed in. So the far left was bussed in. Probably worked for Sheffield Council or trade unions. Some left guy who was streaming from there said, these people seem to be from Sheffield. With their placards, their pink and yellow placards, which they get printed off. They probably protest every Saturday, So, yeah. So Keir made a speech about it. Anyway, the Prince is saying it's going to be fantastic, basically, when the natives become a minority. Basically, we're going to be a third world majority. What could go wrong? It's going to be great. If you have any anxieties about it, you are the R word and you might be locked up. Whereas, if you think it's going to be great, you can become Prime Minister, King, Mayor. Nothing will stop you. You can become a CEO of a big corporation. So, he's talking about, he's trying to lap us up. First of all, he's talking about the Commonwealth, which I think should be scrapped. I think it's an insult to all these countries, even. If I was part of them, I wouldn't want to be in the Commonwealth. America's not in the Commonwealth. I do agree that the colonised countries should. I can see why they want to be part of the Commonwealth, because it's the same people, basically, the majority. The current majority. Australia, Canada, America, but they've left Pride. New Zealand. How do these countries rate for people who can't bear their homelands and they're wanting to move? These are the colonised countries that we colonised. We did have Rhodesia as well, and South Africa, I guess. How do Australia, are they desirable countries to the other countries that we didn't colonise of the Commonwealth, or those whole continents? And if they are desirable, why are they desirable, and why aren't the other continents desirable? That sort of thing. So scrap the Commonwealth, because it's become a nightmare, and plus you're going to keep getting them asking for pay more and more. Like Japan and Germany after the war, they became very desirable countries. But all these countries of the Commonwealth, they want reparations, especially those who have moved to Britain and go on about being colonised. It's Britain that's been colonised, it's not the other way around. We colonised America, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. I don't know how desirable those countries are to you, you know. Are there any continents that aren't desirable to you? So, scrap the Commonwealth, it's a disaster. I just say we learn from each other, respect our differences. They're going to keep coming for reparations, ones after the other, because they can't seem to build nice economic countries, it seems. I mean, it is 2024, you know, Japan and Germany, look at the state they were after the war. In Afghanistan and Iraq, we stayed to make them democracies and try to get them going. And all they did was kill our soldiers, kill any Western hostages they could get. And in the end, it just became unworkable, and Trump left Afghanistan, really, and I don't know what happened to Iraq, really. It's still going, but I don't know how it's getting on. I think we have secret troops there keeping the peace, you know, but Trump's probably going to take them out. So back onto this, yeah. So the Prince, yeah, here he goes. I felt a deep sense of pride here in the United Kingdom when, in response to anger and lawlessness in several towns. Yes, those people were rioters who were out of control rioting there at the situation. And remember what started it in the first place. And they're basically traditional monarchists, Labour voting monarchists. That's who they are, the natives. And you're putting them down. Anger and lawlessness. The summer communities came together. Well, here he's talking about the pink and yellow placard crew who work for the council or the trade unions, who protest every Saturday, vote Jeremy Corbyn and Socialist Worker Party, basically. And it seems in the case of Rotherham, they were all bussed in from Sheffield. They seem to be bussed into Plymouth and things. Not to repeat these behaviours, but to repair. No, the way to do that is to vote reform, basically, I would say, in my opinion. And apparently, Rotherham's dead on for reform at the moment. Sarah Champion, Rotherham Hangman is going to get kicked out. Reformer in the lead by, I don't know, 14% or something in the poll. To repair not just buildings, but relationships, and most importantly, to repair trust by listening and through understanding, deciding how to act for the good of all. Well, the sensible thing to do is like that petition I showed you earlier, and just say, people, look, this is stupid. You know it's stupid. We've been terribly stupid, I'm sorry. We're going to do everything we can to help the world. We are already giving billions, but it doesn't seem to. Japan and Germany, that seemed to be easy. They became two of the biggest economies in the world. China's now one of the biggest, but people would still rather go to Japan and Germany, it seems. But yeah. So how can we help you? You know, how can we help that flag that you're flying? How can we help it? You know. So we'll try everything we can, but we've made a terrible mistake here. You know, because it's going to be anarchy. It's going to be like Mad Max, basically. Well, I think so. Whereas the King thinks it's going to be a utopia. Now, he can call it a utopia and predict that. How can I predict that I'm worried that it might be anarchy? You know, do we live in a democracy or not? A free speech country? Right, let's see what else he's saying. Again, listening is a recurrent theme of the Nativity story. This is ironic because it's a Christmas message. He's made to be the king of the English church, which left so that King Henry could get a divorce, and they burnt down all the Catholic monks monasteries that are so beautiful. Burnt them all down. Not him personally, but Henry. Yeah. Kind of theme of the story. Yeah. So he gets Christianity in there, even though he regards himself king of all faiths, even though the other faiths will vote him out in a referendum. Yeah, and a lot of them probably personally went say Merry Christmas to anyone to ignore it. I was watching a lady on YouTube of that faith who was saying that. She was saying, "He's come here to a non-Muslim country and you won't even respect their religion on their day." Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. Okay. Goodbye.